Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. My name's Jonathan. I'm a 28-year-old. I'm living in Sydney, Australia. This is more of a video just to say, hey, it's probably going to be the first video that I ever make and actually post on YouTube. It'll probably get long forgotten and die somewhere into the bunch of videos from where I started, but I wanted to put something out there just to explain what this channel is going to be about. So at the moment, I am working in real estate, selling high-end apartments and homes on the Northern Beaches, predominantly in Manly. I have been in real estate for the past 10 years. I got out of there straight out of high school. I ended up working with my old man and his business in the inner west. That's where I was raised. And then from then on, I really didn't have much passion as to what I wanted to do when I was younger. Floated through high school. The first thing that I fell in love with was the gym. Because of that, I trained so hard during my high school years that I didn't really pay too much attention to my grades, but wouldn't change a thing. I didn't really have a passion, and then I decided to work for dad on the weekends just to get some money. Probably, I think it was schoolies or something that I needed some cash, and he was like, oh, come work with me on Saturday. And so I ended up working with him, just picking up the phone on Saturdays, and I wasn't really paying too much attention to it, but after a while, I thought I could probably do this. This sounds like it's pretty fun. It pays well if you're good at it. So I said, yeah, why not? So I ended up working with him full time. And then after a while, I wanted to get really good at it. And in order for me to be really good at something or actually learn the hard lessons of being able to, be great, my dad was really good at his work ethic and he worked extremely hard. But working for your dad is not the same as working for somebody else. And what I mean by that is you could come in late and he's just still your dad. You could come in late and you wouldn't get fired, and you could leave early and you wouldn't get fired. So you're not really learning as much as if you rock in late for somebody else, then your ass is on the line. So I was already having that mindset from a young age, and I thought that was really going to be able to excel me to be great. So long story short, I ended up going through dad's company. Then I worked through a second company, which taught me a lot with regards to property management. I went there for 3.5 years. I ended up seeing an interview from the second top real estate agent in the country. And he actually worked close by, and I didn't even know him. And I ended up calling him and I said, hey, I want to catch up for a coffee. One thing led to another. He asked me for a job. I said, yeah, I'll go for the interview. And then one thing led to another, and ended up working underneath him for about 4 or 5 years. Now, this is how hard I went at it. I went for 4 to 5 years working underneath the number 2 ranked agent in Australia, thinking, I'm just learning. I'm a sponge. Don't worry about the money. And the reason why I told myself that is because I went through that entire period with not a single pay rise. So I was on a very low salary, probably maybe year 3. Then he put me on a split commission, which was not a great one. And so in order for me to actually make some proper money, I'm either having to get him in 100 doors that he's never been in, by the way. And anyway, that pushed me. I got to a point where I said, look, I'm either going to become an agent and go and make some real money, or I'm going to find something else to do. And so what ended up happening is I pushed my way out, and everyone thought it was a bad idea. And I think it was in the middle of COVID. So the market was trash. You couldn't show anyone in a group environment. So you had to do one-on-one. So what that meant is when you do a inspection, usually it's a 30-minute gap. And rather than having 20, 30 people all seeing it at once, you had to do single appointments for 10 minutes each. So we'd be showing a property for 3 hours just because that's just how you had to do it. Because obviously you got to follow the regulation, and the last thing you want to do is get fair trading. Was regulating the COVID rules. You just didn't want to get in trouble, because in real estate, you got to be very careful walking the line, because if you get caught, then it's a hefty fine. I haven't been caught, thank God, because I follow the rules. I'm a good agent. Genuinely, I trained really well. Don't do anything dodgy. Never did anything like that, because the key thing is I want to be able to sleep at night knowing that I don't have to remember a lie the next day. With that though, I hustled and I ended up becoming my own agent. It was a grind. It was in a time that was very shaky, but I didn't think about that. I was thinking, like I said, either this is going to work or it isn't going to work. Sure enough, I ended up spending, I think, another 3 or 4 years. All in all, it was 10 years in my real estate career up until now. And fortunately, I've been able to sell over $150 million worth of real estate. The highest sale price is 7.1 million. That's not to blow smoke up my ass. That's just to let you know how I've been able to get by. But all of that wasn't through a lot of hard work and a lot of training on self-discipline and the mindset. And what I mean by that, while I was working, I wasn't just working. I was doing triathlon training with my brother. We fell into it together, which was awesome. I was able to sign myself up for a 6-month training plan to do an amateur MMA fight. And I did 75 hard for like three separate times. And 75 hard is, if you haven't heard of what 75 hard is, it's about 6 habits that you got to follow for 75 days. And if you drop or you don't follow one of those habits for one day, or you fall asleep and you forget to take a progress photo or whatever it is, then you got to restart again. And so I went through all of that, and that was a blessing because I wanted to always make sure that I'm improving. Mental health is a big thing. If you're young and you come out of high school and you might not have the best self-confidence, or you're a bit insecure, or you're not fit, or you're not in shape, or you just don't have a lot of belief in yourself, you got to do those things, right? You've got to put yourself in a scenario where you're training yourself day in and day out, so that way the next day you can just be that 1% better. And in real estate, it is a grind. You have to always be on, because not only outside the office, but in the office, there's so much that goes on, especially when there's money involved. If you're not sharp or you're not on, your buyers can take advantage of you, your vendors can take advantage of you, the people in the office can take advantage of you. And in business, there's a guy, Robert Knight, author of Shoe Dog. One of the sayings that stuck with me when I read his book was, business is war without bullets. And so what that means is, it means what it says, right? It's war without bullets. So verbal, body language, these underlying strategies and techniques that people use to have power, those things that you actually need to be aware of for you to be successful in an industry like real estate. So this channel, I know I've gone into a long introduction, just a little bit about me and my story. This channel is going to be unpacking a lot of what I've been able to learn over those years, whether it's fitness, getting into real estate, how I got through 75 hard, how I was able to push through an MMA fight and jump into a ring and also be successful, how I was able to do a full distance Ironman. For those of you that don't know what a full distance Ironman is, it's about a 3-kilometer swim, it's a 180-kilometer bike ride, and a 42-kilometer run, a marathon at the end. It took me 11 hours, so that was grim. This channel is going to be an interesting one where I pretty much diarize my journey into becoming an entrepreneur. So everyone talks about being an entrepreneur. The reality is that's what I want to do. And so although I could put another 10 to 20 years into selling real estate and seeing where I can go or where I could get, but the reality is Gary Vee and all these iconic people, they talk about do what you love and you never work a day in your life. I like real estate and I'm good at it and I know how it works, and I could pick up the phone. I'm not scared of picking up the phone or calling this person, doing that part, having a tough conversation and just seeing where it goes. That's not the concern. The issue is, or not so much the issue is the change in my thought process is, I just don't want to do it anymore. So not because I don't like it. Once you get a deal closed and you sell a property, it's a rush, right? It's good. But I want to build something on my own, and I want to take control of my own life. And I want to do something that I'm more passionate about. So pretty much what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using my skills that I've been able to hone when I was younger in regards to technology. I've always been tech savvy. I am following a journey to building my own agency, social media marketing agency. And I'm actually going to be aiming my agency towards real estate agents and helping them not only increase their brand and elevate it through social media, but also help them generate leads. Because I think one of the gaps that I noticed when I was working in real estate is you are constantly on the grind. And what that might mean is you're doing open homes, you're doing buyer appointments, especially if you're busy. And so what happens is I find myself that, okay, I'll get into the office. If I don't have a lot of stock, I'm like, sweet, I'm going to knuckle down. I'm going to call all, I'm already thinking in my head, I'm going to call all these people and I will get it done, right? You know, whether it's 20 or 30 connects each day, you're there from like whenever you get that done. It could be like 7:30, 8 o'clock, and just getting those calls done. And then what happens is, because you put in the work, you'll find yourself that you get a listing and then you get another one and then it compounds and then you're in the momentum. But then you just don't have the time to prospect like you did when you were super hungry for it, right? But now you're still hungry, but you're just putting so much time and effort. And by the time you have a tough vendor call, by the time you just have a buyer that's just grinded your gears or just shattered you and made an offer and then backed out, and then all of a sudden you've burnt your whole campaign, whatever it may be, and then you get it sold and you're like, great, good feeling. What's the next one? Boom, you haven't prospected for the last 4 to 5 weeks like you were supposed to, and then you're in a dead patch. And then that's what happens when you go from the lows to the highs to the lows to the highs, because it's really hard to be able to consistently do that while you're getting busier and busier. And obviously you can hire someone on board and get someone to do the prospecting for you. The ones that are trying to crack into the industry and get past, you know, whether it's 300, 400, 500K, you won't be able to do that unless you get support. And that's where we step in. We help you get that support. We not only boost your brand, we get you more leads. We put a bunch of automation systems in place, so that way we're taking the pressure off these real estate agents and getting them to convert these leads into clients and nurturing them through whether it's automated prospecting systems or constant automation that runs during the background. So that way these people are getting contacted without the agent having to call them every single day, every single week, that kind of thing. So anyway, we'll unpack that all in this channel. I've already said heaps today in this video. Today, I just wanted to introduce you to myself, my journey, this channel. I hope you enjoy the insights that I'll give to you guys out here. It's just going to be entirely about a whole bunch of things that I've been able to learn that you might be able to implement yourself. If it helps any one of you out there to be able to implement new things that you're currently going through that maybe I went through, or something that relates to something that you might be going through that could help you get past it, then this has done its job. If there's anything that you think, you know what, there's a question or something that you want me to touch on that I might have some advice on, again, that's why I'm doing this, to be able to help you guys. So just chuck it in the comment section below. If you're liking this video, share it, subscribe, whatever you want to do to help grow it and get more people to view it would be awesome. And yeah, I'll teach you everything, let you know everything that I've learned. And also I'll take you along to this hectic journey that I'm keen on, quitting my career as a real estate agent and going balls to the wall, trying to build this company from scratch. Hopefully rechange my life and prove to everyone that doubts me, or anyone that doubts anyone as well, to show you guys that it is possible. You don't have to settle for something that you don't want to be in just because it's good, just because the money's great, because in the long run, I don't want to be looking back 10, 15 years thinking, fuck, I should have done something. So that's me, Jonathan Perez. Subscribe, do your thing, and I'll chat to you in the next video. Cheers.